Now we come to the last and most important part of the coding process: displaying the HTML web page. The sendHTML function is responsible for generating a web page whenever the ESP32 Web Server gets a request from a web client. It merely concatenates HTML code into a big string and returns to the server.send function we discussed earlier. The function takes status of LEDs as a parameter to dynamically generate the HTML content. The first text you should always send is the doctype declaration. This doctype declaration indicates that we are sending HTML code. So let's start by initializing this method. Down here, it will return string, so it won't be void, string send HTML. Now this method will take two parameters. The first one will be the integer LED1 status, and it will take LED2 state. As you can see here and here. Now we need to identify a pointer. So inside it, the first line will be string ptr, which is the text pointer or the string pointer that we are going to use. And the first thing that we are going to pass is the doctype HTML tag. And if you are familiar with HTML, you'll know that this is something you have to do. You can't ignore it and you can't leave it. You have to tell the browser that this is an HTML code using this line. Now the /n here means new line. So the first thing that will be written in our HTML page is this, and it won't be written, it will be hidden, and the /n will move to the next line so that we can write more things. Next, we are going to write the meta viewport element that makes the web page responsive in any web browser, while title tag sets the title of the page. So let's do them one by one, and you'll notice that whenever I write this, I write plus equal. Plus equal means take this and add whatever written here to it. Don't replace it, concatenate it. So add the first string plus the second string plus the third string and so on. So we are going to write a long line here. This line will make the HTML page header or head, and we are going to write the meta tags, and you can simply write them down or copy them from our code. I will provide the source code for this project. Now write viewport, write slash, add another mark, then write content, write equal, and write slash again, then add another sign, write width equals device width. This will make our web page responsive, and it will change depending on our device width. Next, what you need to do is initial scale. Add a comma, write initial scale and 1.0. We don't want it to scale up or down. Now the user scalable equal no. Don't allow the user to scale our HTML code. It will auto adjust to the browser settings. Once you are done, you can simply close the tag, the meta tag, and write /n and another mark, then this. Okay, I know that this is a long line. This is basically the header of our page, and we are writing meta tags to make sure that our web page will be responsive. I don't recommend writing it down, just copy and paste this code from our code. Now the next step will be writing or setting the title of our page. Write ptr plus equal, and you can simply write title. This is the title tag, and write title again. Now between these two you can write the tag lead control ESP32. This will be the title of our web page. Now add /n here to make sure that you have a new line. Now for styling the web page, we can add CSS, which is basically a way to color everything on your page and to control the background, the width, the strokes, and other things. And we are going to add some CSS styling to our HTML web page to make it look more beautiful. And to do that, you have to choose the font type, the margins, and other stuff. If you are not familiar with this, just copy and paste what we have done and do some edits, and you will notice the difference. Now write ptr plus equal and add 2 signs. Then write style, write HTML. Inside it you can now choose the font family. You can add Arial or any other type, and you can add the display to be inline block. Then you can change the margin. I will add 0 pixel to the margin. Now after the 0 pixel you can add auto. Now we can also set the text align to be center. After you do all of this, just add new line to make sure that you have moved to the next line to keep writing your HTML code. Now this is the CSS styling, and this is the title of our page. This is the header. Now let's move on. Now you can simply follow or write the following code, these 2 lines. These 2 lines will help set the color, font, and margin around the body tags, the H1, H3, and P tags. As you can see, this will set the font size, this will set the color for the P tag, and this will set the margin. Same here, this is for H1 and this is for H3. You can simply copy and paste these lines from our code. Some styling is applied to the buttons as well, with properties like color, size, margin, etc. The on and off button has different background color. We can set different background color by use the active selector for buttons to ensure button click effect. Now I can write down the whole code letter by letter, but I will paste it here and explain it to you. Now as you can see here in our code for the button, here we set the width and the background color for that button, and we are stating that won't have any borders. The color will be white, the padding will be 13 pixel and 30 pixel from left, right, up and down. The text decoration, there will be no text decoration. The font size will be 25, and these are the other properties. Same for the background color. You can set it here, and you can set the background color when active, when the button is pressed to see another color. Same here for the off button. The background color will be this, and when it's active, when someone clicks it, it will change to this color. This will has a nice effect on the button and will be more interactive button. We can also style the heading. You can simply write PTR for the H1 and H3. These two lines will change the heading of the web page. You can simply change the text inside these H1 and H3 tags to anything that suits your application. But in our case, I have written ESP32 Web Server and using access point mode. Now, to start displaying the buttons and corresponding state, to dynamically generate the buttons and LED state, we use if statement. So depending upon the status of the general purpose input-output pins, on or off, button are displayed. Now, let's write this if statement. Here you need to write if, and you need to write else. Now inside the if, we are going to write lid1 state, and if lid1 state is on, we are going to write this line. Let me explain to you what's happening here. Now we are going to add to our HTML code this line, lid1 state is on, and we are going to choose this class for button. We are going to choose button off and lid1 off, and we'll write off inside the button. So this line will create a new button, and in the next case, if the lid state is off, we are going to write the very same line, but instead of on, we are going to write off here. Same for the second if statement, which is lid2 state. We are going to write the very same lines down here. As you can see, lid2 state on, lid2 states off. And depending on the lid state, it will add this line to our HTML code, or this line for the lid1, and for the lid2 it will add this line or this line. Now once we write all of this, the next step will be returning the string. So at the end of this method, we are going to close the tags. Okay, let me make sure that everything is set right. Okay, now before we end this, we need to write ptr plus equal, and here we are going to close the body tag, and /n, and then we are going to close the HTML tag, and then /n. After that, let's write return ptr, which will return this string when this method is called, and once this string is returned, it will be sent and displayed on our web browser. Now that's it. This is the whole process. The HTML coding can be done automatically. You can simply go. Now you can simply, if you want to write your own HTML code, you can simply go here and go to the HTML5 editor, or write on Google online HTML editor, and using any of these editors you can simply write an HTML code easily. Now you can start by writing lid on, and you can start adding different items. You can clean the code, as you can see, and you can add a link or just right lid on, add your hyperlink to this. And once you are done with the coding process or writing your web page or how you want your web page to be, you can simply copy these lines. But you need to add, once you copy these lines, I will show you how to do it. Text editor. Once you are done and satisfied with your code, you can simply paste these lines, and here you can do the following. Write ptr plus equal before each of these lines, and at the end add this, add /n and a semicolon. You can simply copy this, paste it here, here, and here, and at the beginning we need to add this text sign. That's it. Then you can simply copy this code and paste it in your Arduino on a software. This will be a much easier way for you to create your web page and the buttons that you want to display, but there are a lot of methods that you can do this with. There are more visual editors or software that can write HTML codes, but I prefer coding them in the Arduino IDE, and this is my code. Now what you need to do, if you felt overwhelmed with the HTML code, you can simply copy my code and paste it on yours, and you can adjust it depending on your needs. Edit your page name using this line. Let control ESP32. Edit the headers, edit the coloring, the buttons, add more buttons. Depending on your needs, you can do anything you want with this code. In the next lesson, we are going to test out this code and connect to our Wi-Fi network and run the ESP server. That's it for this lesson. Thanks for watching. This is Ashraf from Educational Engineering Team.